Hey there, this is Scott with Showing Austin. Today I'm going to show you a new tool that I found for image to video that is fabulous. I've tried AutoReel, which I have a video on. I have Artlist, a video on that. I even tried Infinite Creator. They all have their benefits, but this, in my opinion, outweighs them all. And I'm going to show you how I set up a video on videotour.ai. Here you're going to go into their homepage. You can check it out all you want and see what it's all about, but I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going to go right into the tool, and I'm going to add photos. The best thing about this portion is you can add up to 20. A lot of services charge you for each photo you make an image to video of, or they charge you an expensive subscription to make a certain amount of videos. I believe these prices are the best, and the maximum amount of videos to make in the form of 20 photos is awesome. Now it also allows you to choose an industry here, real estate, hotel, etc. I'm actually going to choose real estate here. My last one was a vacation rental for a client. I'm going to choose real estate. As you can see, it's also good for product marketing, retail shops, new developments, office spaces, tourism and travel, museum exhibition, restaurants and cafes. Endless opportunity here, but I'm going to try to present properties in a dynamic way to attract buyers for my client. Now I've added 20 photos for a shoot that I just did. Now I've also numbered these videos 0, 1 through 20 to make it enter this timeline the way I want it to. You can also add additional instructions here, and that's when you get into AI prompting. What I like about this service is you don't have to. You can add some specific prompting after the fact, which I'm going to get into. So I'm going to delete this instruction for now. For video settings, you can do background music, which I'm going to leave on because I'm going to testing this background music to make sure it will monetize on YouTube, which I think is very important for people, making sure you don't get copyright strikes. I'm going to also choose music automatically because you can choose it later and you can change it later, which is done in the editor, which is an awesome feature, whereas you can edit and change as much as you want. But you could choose the music manually here, and you can choose calm and listen to the different music in the different categories and choose one. But for now, let's choose it automatically. We can always change it later. We're going to start with a horizontal video. You can also do vertical or square for something like Instagram. And this is also neat. It'll add captions for you, and you can add them. It actually will add them automatically. You can change those later in the editor I mentioned, and you can change different fonts, colors, and sizes and styles here. You can even personalize it by choosing the font, the position of the caption, and then the roundness of the caption, etc. Pretty good for realtors who want to describe a listing more specifically. I'm going to leave mine off for now, and we're going to create the video. We're going to let it do its magic, and we're going to come back after this video is done, see how long it takes. While it's loading the different videos, I want to show you the options it gives you. You can change position order here by merely just typing in a new number, and it will change it and put it in that position automatically. You can also change the style. You can do a zoom in, zoom out if you prefer that, as opposed to what it did automatically. You can pan left to right, right to left, and you can zoom in towards the left, zoom in towards the right, which is kind of neat. But you can't preview it here. You'd have to redo the whole video to see those. Or you can animate them, and you can describe it or choose a preset, and what it's showing you here, it's going to charge you the 10 credits. Now the presets are these 6, zoom in, zoom out, pivot left, pivot right, which are kind of neat in open rooms if you want to show something in that room, maybe a piano, etc. To pivot left or right. Up and down is kind of neat for zoom shots of specifically a drone, where you might want to go downwards coming into a home. And then the premium is just going to give you a slightly higher quality. But what's really neat is, let's go to the end of the video here and give you an idea. Position order, it looks like it's stopping at 16 for some, 17, 18, there it goes. So let's hypothetically say we want to drop this to the last slot. Once you type in 20, it's going to move it to that last slot. I think the problem here is this one is not isolated. Here you go. So say we want to move this back to 19, boom. That's the neat thing here is, if you know that you want to put something, let's say after this loft shot, which is 11, and you decided that this shot here of the loft wants to go after that, you hit 12, enter, and just like that, voila, it takes you and puts that animation. So what it actually did here, I'm noticing, it actually took them way out of order from my numbered amounts. That's something you have to watch out for. I don't know what this is going to do. We can always change it later. Ideally, we probably just want a slow zoom in, so let's go ahead and choose that. And this, I'm going to actually choose, even before seeing the video, pan to the left from right to left because I want to kind of pan into the living space and see what it gives me. The problem is you're going to see some artifacts often show, and you may not like that shot, so we might want to revisit that. Here we're gonna zoom into the left a little bit, so we're kind of entering the room to the left. Or other way, we're going to zoom into the right. I like these little bit zooms in an angle. And the same with the kitchen. Let's zoom into the left a little bit because that's where the entrance is. I'm going to switch this up. Oh, I don't want to add that motion. I'm going to go back to standard motion. You can toggle standard motion and the automatic and style. I'm going to do a zoom out here just to mix it up a little bit. Or maybe I pan to the right from the left to show the kitchen, and maybe I'll do a zoom out here from the pantry. And then these are just kind of standard quickie shots. This is kind of showing the other room here downstairs as well as the bath. Let's zoom in left. I kind of like to control these a little bit more. I like to pan left to right here, and we'll see what kind of artifacts it shows because we're kind of panning and going into the loft space. We're in the loft space here. We can zoom in. We're in the loft space here. Let's zoom into the left towards that bathroom. In the master, let's zoom in towards the view. And then the master here, let's zoom into the right towards the bath. And we're here in the shower. I'm going to zoom out. And then we're here in the extra bedroom. Let's pan right to left towards the window. And then here we're just let's just zoom out. Just another basic shot. Final shot, we're definitely going to zoom in straight to the house. And the branding I'm going to cover later. You can add an intro or outro, and it's going to charge you 20 credits. It stores it in your account with a logo. This is great for a realtor's logo, perhaps. If you're doing a branding video, a lot of realtors can't do branding videos and use them widely on MLS. But if you want to use a realtor logo, your own logo, which I do as an outro with a video file, you can do it here. And the formats where you can switch back and forth between horizontal and vertical. So the one thing you have to keep in mind is you do have to choose horizontal to process horizontal and then download the horizontal. You have to choose the vertical, process the vertical, and download the vertical. And that way you can get multiple edits, but you can only download and process one at a time. But when you get your tour and it's finished, you'll get an email. And if you click the email or stay on the site, you'll get this look of a page here where you can download the video or apply changes. Of course, we're going to watch the video. We're going to check out the music, etc. So this is the full video. I think we can switch to editor, which we can at the same time. So it did actually just do a zoom right. It didn't do what it was showing earlier in the preview. I like to zoom in there. So let's pause it for now. I like how it's under 2 minutes. Of course, it's taking the original choices and not what was done after the fact. So let's go back into the editor here. And we see how it's going up. We like that. I think I asked for this automation, even though it was by mistake, after the original video was done. So that's why it's obviously not in there. Remember, we changed the order to the way that we exactly want it to do. I'm double checking the order before I go upstairs. Show the loft, the master, the master, the master, the extra bedrooms, and the final. I like this order, but before we do that, let's see the music that it has chosen here. Let's just take a quick listen. I like it. Let's leave it. I kind of like the automatic choice it's got here. We're not going to do a branding. Remember, if we wanted a vertical only, we would need to change this before we apply the changes. And it even lets you post and gives you a basic thumbnail to download, which is a work in progress. Let's go ahead and apply the changes. There's the sample thumbnail, by the way, which I'm not going to use. And we're going to apply the changes and come back when that video was republished. And remember, the reason why we're doing that is we made multiple changes, not only to the order of images to video, we made a lot of changes here to the styles. If I had a table here, I might even go to animate this and choose a preset like pivot to the left to kind of spin around to the left and show that table, which I've done in a previous video where I spun to the right around a piano. And things like the upwards, downwards, I think work best outside personally. The pivots are kind of neat. But remember, you can always manually prompt it like traditional AI. The ability to do either is great. If you want the simplicity of just choosing the automations or the selections it gives you under style, keeps it simple. If you want to go in and get a little fancier with prompting, you can do that as well. One of the things I've done here is I took a screen recording of the prompts that were recommended on the home page of virtualtour.ai, which I think are pretty cool. Look at the transform area down here and take a look at these prompts. Zoom in on the house, speed effect, open the door. Zoom in and open the door. I'm going to try. The concern, of course, is what it's going to show on the inside. Circle around the dining area, kind of neat as well. Slowly push back and the fire crackles. So you can add fire in, which is remarkable. I'm going to go back to view my videos and we'll see the updates that this editor did. That took about 5 to 10 minutes. It wasn't too long, but you got to admit that's pretty incredible to have a video kind of edited for you within 5 to 10 minutes and any changes made within 5 or 10 minutes. Pretty remarkable. Remember, you can edit over and over again, make changes over and over again without any extra cost to the amount of videos you're doing. So the ability to make these multiple changes is pretty incredible. It's now changed the video to 1:19, which is interesting. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and watch the preview. I'm showing you my style choices for each frame. I like the pan, I like the zoom. Zoom right works real well there. As is the zoom in left here, which is unique, that's just not going in and out. I like the little excitement adds with the music here as we get into the rest of the house. We're now upstairs. We're looking to make sure there's no extra artifacts being shown. I like how it doesn't swing too far left or right in the pans, because that is what kind of shows you fake parts of the home. And that is what I was finding in a few other software options. I've probably tried 4 or 5 of them at this point, and this is the easiest to use, best pricing, and the ability to do automatic or specific prompting is pretty nice. I would love, as I mentioned, to be able to have the vertical here, and I would even love for it to fade in and out at the beginning and at the end. It's probably something I would do in post myself, as well as remember, see if that music that they've given me can be monetized or not have a copyright strike on YouTube. Anyway, that's it. That's how you can make the video. Now remember, I'm going to go ahead and download this horizontal, and then I'm going to go into leave the music, don't do any branding. We're going to format it to vertical. But when you do that, you have to apply the changes and let it edit that video. When it gives you the email when it's ready, or wait for it, remember to refresh, then you get your vertical video downloaded. Now, this is the final vertical video, which I changed the format for. It really just showed you the horizontal for the thumbnail, I don't know why. So it's basically taking the horizontal and doing a center crop. We're going to go ahead and download this. Remember, I've tried other services, multiple ones. This is the most unique, the easiest, and the best cost-efficient service I've found so far. Remember to check the links in the video description below for your promo code to get a 15% discount. Thanks for watching.